Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Apostate Alex. This is the second proper video that I'm doing. So thank you all to everyone who subscribed over the last couple of hours. It's been pretty mad to see how much the channel has grown already. So thank you for the support, and everyone that's come over here from Aaron's channel. That's amazing. So thank you, and hopefully we can do another video very soon. I wanted to look a bit more in depth at the stress test pattern. Yesterday, excuse me, in the video I did with Aaron, we talked about how we sold books, how we did stress tests, and how that whole system worked. Now, I did a bit of digging online, and the first thing of interest, this is a picture of me in my Dianetics t-shirt selling books. This is actually on Edgware Road in London, which is one of the places we went to most often to sell books, to do stress tests. You see there the guy in the white shirt with the blonde hair. Next to the e-meter is Charlie Wackley. You guys talked a lot about him yesterday. He was my boss. And then there's me with the e-meter trying to sell a book to this poor guy. We actually went to Edgware Road quite often. It was one of the most regular places we went to. I think because it's an area that has a really high number of Arabic people in the community, and we just found that we had a lot less pushback from that community than we did from typical middle class white London bankers, for example, who are the ones that are in the area around the org, who would either just walk straight past us, or we'd get people shouting Xenu or you're a cult or whatever. Edgware Road, they kind of left us alone, and people used to come over and were a bit more interested in it. We sold a lot of Arabic language written Dianetics. We didn't sell that many English editions. We definitely sold more Arabic copies than English. But look, that's one of the beauties of London. It's like a melting pot of different communities and cultures. So it was nice to be able to see different people. We always had different languages available on the table, as well as English, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, French, the whole lot. But yeah, this was an Arabic community we went to quite a lot that were definitely fairly interested in, more interested than those around the local immediate area around the org. Now, I wanted to talk a bit about the sales patter. So I did a bit of digging, and I actually found online the patter, and it is exactly how I remember it. So I thought I would just read you through it. So if you ever come across someone trying to sell a Dianetics book through a stress test, this is the patter that we were told to learn and use. Now, you have to bear in mind that this did change. While I was in Scientology, there was a big focus on Milano org, because Milano were doing really, really well, and there was a guy there, I can't remember his name, but he developed his own stress test pattern. He basically rewrote this in his own way that worked really well. Now, this isn't L. Ron Hubbard. This isn't policy. It's not like it's against the rules to sell books in a different way. This is just a way that had been developed that worked well. So this guy, Milano org, who wrote his own pattern that was different to this, didn't get in trouble or anything, but he came over to London org and taught us how to do that, and we started using that new pattern, which isn't available online, but I'm going to dig through all of my folders and files later this weekend to see if I can dig that out, because it's just a different way of going about it. But essentially, this is what would happen. Someone would be body rooted over, like we discussed in Aaron's video, and once they sit down, the person doing the stress test, so that would be myself in this instance, would say, "Hi, my name's Alex, what's your name? It's nice to meet you." And then you put the cans in their hands. The cans are the little metal things that you hold that are connected up to the e-meter. You go, "Here's how this works. I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to say anything, but we're going to find out what's causing the most stress in your life." So when you see that needle there on the right, when that moves, that shows stress, right? And then you turn the meter on and set it up like I discussed. So then you would say, think of different people and situations in your life. And then you would wait for the meter to move, and you would see a little move on the meter, and you go, "There, right there, that's stress. What did you just think of?" Then what you'd have to do is try and encourage that person to try and open up and tell you, "Oh, I was just thinking about an argument I had with my wife yesterday," or something. And then you would go, oh, okay, interesting, that's fine. And it says here, get in calm. If no real ruin, give them a good and appropriate act and say, think of something else causing you stress. So, for example, if they said, oh, my wife and I had an argument yesterday, that's not the biggest cause of stress in this person's life. They're not going to buy the book because of that. So you would try and dig a bit more. You'd go, okay, no problem. Think about something else that causes stress in your life. And then the meter would read. And you would keep doing this process until you find something. It says here, getting calm. If still no real ruin, check over the following areas one at a time if they haven't already come up. Work, family, relationships. So the idea is that's when you just ask more questions to get in depth in different areas of someone's life until you get a really big read on the meter. And then you would say, okay, that there, tell me more about that, because that's finding their ruin, the thing that's ruining their life. If you're still struggling, you go a bit more direct. So let me ask you a question. What's the one thing that is really ruining your life? And then you would really hammer it home until they give you something. And then you would ask, how long has this been going on? Okay, great. How is this affecting your life? Or how does it affect you? Okay, good. Thank you. Once that's done, you give them an acknowledgement. You go, right, I understand. I get it. I've heard you. I listened to you. You take the cans out of their hands. And you say, let me show you something. Have you ever heard of this book? And then you hold up Dianetics and you show them the cover. And they go, no, what's that? I've never heard of that before. And you put it in your hands, in their hands. And instead of it says here, let them read the first 2 paragraphs inside the flap of the cover. We actually had like a plastic booklet thing with a ring binder that had like an introductory paragraph or 2 that explained what Dianetics was. So what we would do is put the Dianetics book in their hand, and then we would put this plastic ring binder thing on top of it, and then they would read that paragraph or 2 that basically just says Dianetics is a #1 bestseller, written by Oren Hubbard. It's sold over 20 million copies, blah, blah, blah. So you give them a couple of minutes to read it, and then as soon as they finish reading it, you take it out of their hands. Now, the reason you do this is because in Scientology, there's a technique called reach and withdraw. And the idea is that by giving them the book, taking it away, giving it to them, taking it away, by doing that, you're making them kind of lean in and be, oh, no, don't, oh, no, I want, kind of giving it to them and taking it away makes them want it more. So there's this sort of subliminal messaging going on. Anyway, so once you take it out of the hands, you go, so what you just told me about where, and then you explain whatever the ruin is they just gave you, oh, I was beaten up as a kid at school and ever since then I've had no confidence issues, whatever. You would say, so what you just told me about where you're at school and you were beaten up and it's still affecting you today because you have confidence issues. This book will show you exactly why that happened and why that still affects you today. And it will show you exactly how to fix it. And then on the words fix it, that's when you put the hands back in there. Sorry, put the book back in their hands. So you would go, this is why that happens and exactly how to fix it, right? It was like an action, kind of like a dance. And then as soon as they go like, what? You then hammer them home with the hard sell, which is get it, read it. 20 million people have. You'll see why. Just read it. Get the book and read it. Why should I talk? That's how big it is. It's going to blow you away. It's £12. Take your chance. I mean, it's going to change your life. And if it doesn't, fine. It's 12 quid, right? Is it worth 12 quid to you? Just take the book and read it. Most of the time, that would work. People would be like, okay, yeah, fair enough. If there's any pushback, you would, find a way to challenge that. If people are, oh, I don't really have any money, you go, okay, but think about it. You know how you were really upset a minute ago when you're telling me about being bullied as a child, for example. This is a solution that's 12 quid. If it's not that much, if it doesn't work, even if it doesn't work, is it worth 12 quid to you? Because you were just telling me about how much it really upset you, right? So, hold on, let me just change back to that. It's me. Hello. So the idea is in the finding the ruin is you then use that to guilt trip them at the end, right? And whatever the pushback is, why they can't buy the book right there and then, well, you use that ruin they told you against them, right? Well, you were just telling me about how you have real bad confidence issues and you struggle to talk to people. Well, this is 12 quid, right? Or 14 quid if you buy the DVD as well, 16, whatever it was. This isn't much money in the scheme of things. So do you really want to fix that thing in your life you're just telling me about? Is it not worth trying this? £12, £14, whatever. I think it's worth it. So that's how we would sell the book. And it was pretty successful. Personally, I sold over 200 books in a period of a month or something like that. During the bookathon, we were constantly number 1, number 2, number 3 in the world. We did quite a good job. We got everyone in the org involved as we could. There were a group of FSMs and people that come out regularly with us every week on Wednesday. And we would have different areas we would go to in London. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and please do all the usual stuff, like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff, and hopefully see you guys soon. Cheers.